What day is it? Clam Chowder Day. New England Clam Chowder to be specific. And I don't mean to pick sides, but I've never had Manhattan Clam Chowder. And this New England Clam Chowder isn't for the purists either, because I put some other stuff like carrots in there. First order of business is get yourself some nice thick bacon. Chop it up into little pieces. This is probably about a pound. Next up, you're gonna get a big old pot with a heavy bottom. I like a Dutch oven for this. Sometimes when I pick up cast iron pots, I dance for no reason. So throw that pot on medium-low and cook your bacon until it's super crispy and all the fat's rendered out. While that's cooking, we're gonna prep up 1 carrot, 4 ribs of celery and 2 onions, or 1.5 onions and a couple shallots if you have them, and 1 bunch of parsley. This is not a blended soup, so you can't be lazy here. With a blended soup, you just hack it all up because it's just gonna turn into a puree, but with this one, all the chunks stay chunks. So once your bacon's all super crispy, pull that out of the pan, set it aside, and save the bacon fat in the pan. Take your vegetables that are all perfectly cut to the exact same size, toss them into the hot bacon fat and start frying those up. You want to cook them for about 5 to 8 minutes, just until they get soft and they start to get a little bit of caramelization. While your veggies are getting to know that bacon fat, you're going to take 1 to 2 cans. I did 1 here. I think 2 is better. Reserve the juice and drain the clams, but keep them separate. The trick behind crisping up the bacon first and then removing it and setting it aside is that we're going to cook this soup for probably about a half an hour total, so if you left the bacon in there the whole time, it would just be limp. Nobody likes limp piggies. So instead, we're gonna separate it and add it right at the very end so it stays super crispy and delicious. Once your veggies are nice and soft, move them to the outside of the pan and add 1/4 cup of butter in the middle and let it melt. Once the butter is melted and frothy, add 1/4 cup of flour and cook, mixing the butter with the veggies for 2 to 3 minutes to cook out the raw flavor taste. This is really important because raw flour tastes like blech. This is called a blonde roux because you're not really cooking the roux long enough to add any color to it. We're just gonna cook it enough so the raw flour taste is gone, and then we're gonna add our liquid. We're gonna do 1/2 cup of wine. It can be sherry or white wine or whatever. The juice from the clams, 2 cups of milk, and 1.5 cups of chicken or vegetable stock, whatever you've got around. Doesn't really matter what order you add them in. Out of habit, I add the wine first because it's deglazing with alcohol. It's kind of like a pretty common thing that I do all the time. So whatever order you want to add them in, make sure you start slow. The first 4 or 5 additions need to be just a dribble. Think of it like you're making a paste 4 or 5 times before you start to really add the liquid. So you make a paste, add a little bit more liquid, make a paste, add a little more liquid. Once you've done that 4 or 5 times, you can start adding in the liquid much quicker. One of the really cool parts about this soup is it's actually a very simple framework, and if you want to mix it up, you can take a different meat, different vegetables, different liquid, anything, and kind of sub them in, but use the same method, and you'll get a cool different soup that you've never heard of before. And once you have all your liquid in, we're gonna bring it up to a simmer, add the potatoes, because they just need to boil in that liquid until they're done. I only use 1 of these potatoes that I cut up. It's about 2 cups of diced potatoes total. And then you're also gonna toss in 3 bay leaves. On top of that, you're gonna add 2 teaspoons of dried thyme, 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Now we're gonna cook the soup. The potatoes are your timer. Once your taters are all soft and delicious, kill the heat and add in your bacon, your clams, and your parsley. And don't forget to take out your bay leaves at this point too. Or you can play the game, whoever finds a bay leaf in their soup gets a prize. Oh yeah, don't actually do that. Apparently bay leaves are toxic, who knew? Next, taste and adjust with salt and pepper. It'll probably need at least a bit more salt. And lastly, add in 1 teaspoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice. This just cuts the richness and balances the acidity. It's basically the same principle as adding a little bit of sugar to tomato sauce to cut the acidity, but we're doing it the other way around. Alright, spoon yourself some bowls of this magical soup, and don't forget to spill all over the counter and add a sprig of fresh parsley if your garnishing skills are stuck in the 90s. Alright, I hope you guys love this video. I hope you guys make this soup. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And now for some sexy clam chowder shots. Sexy chowder shots.